breaking 140 sets average in the final set to put Ryan Meikle away. But up next, well, Damon Heta, the Australian, is going to take to the stage, and he's got a very dangerous opponent, as we saw in the first round, a brilliant performance to get to this stage by Scutt.
Yes, absolutely. He's taken out someone from New Zealand now. He is gunning for the best Aussie in world darts, in the number 9 seed, Damon Heta. So he's gradually working his way west when it comes to planetary players. But Damon Heta is a very, very dangerous customer. But it's fair of us to say at this point that he hasn't played his best darts on the World Championship stage. Tonight, he's got to be on point.
Alexandra Palace, and the Paddy Power World Darts Championship, all brought to you by the Professional Darts Corporation. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to meet the players from England, the winner of 2 Challenge Tour titles. He is the Challenge Tour Order of Merit winner. Ladies and gentlemen, a 2-time televised quarter-finalist. Time to meet the sniper, Scutt!
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. We got everything you want. Honey, we know the
Big
game we
beaming
own.
smile on the face of Scutt as he walked into the Ali Pali jungle for the second time in this tournament. A fantastic victory, as we just spoke about. His opening game produced big numbers in that one, but now has Damon Heta in front of him. Many people, Paul, think that Scutt could cause a scalp. Are you one of them?
I think this is going to be close. The only thing I'm going to say here is I think this is 5 sets, and it would be a very fitting end to what's been a very long and very interesting day of darts. Scutt on the hockey, trying to get the crowd involved on his side. It is, after all, going to be England versus Australia. Connor wearing black and purple, and now this guy will be wearing something that makes him look like he's on fire.
PDC titles, a World Cup champion. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to meet the Heat, Damon.
Well, it's got a big hat made out of foam, but it's meant to look like a fire on top of his head. Will the Heat be on fire at the Ali Pali this evening? He's getting a little bit of encouragement from Gordon Mathers, who was in this tournament, almost got through against Ricky Evans, but Heta now flying the Australian flag, makes his way onto the stage with all sorts of fun sort of stretchers and routines at the end of the walk-on. Now he's taken them onto the stage, where he's pretty much becoming the 5th member of the dance troupe at the Ali Pali. Shakes hands with the officials and now turns to the audience. He looks like he's determined to enjoy himself.
It was just under 2 years ago where he started to do some experimental stuff on the stage. He was trying to find more comfort up there. He used to go to places like Czechia wearing a Czech hockey shirt. He would do Dutch dances in the Netherlands, but now it's all about a brand. Damon Heta is the Heat. He hands the on-fire hat to one of the stage hands. In fact, the stage manager, Martin Leake, who does a fantastic job for charity, doesn't like to talk about it. But this game, with all of the great walk-ons and the props, all of a sudden that stops. It's all about who is the best on the dartboard over the course of the next 5 sets. This is a very, very good match. Yes, the sniper, Scutt, does not have a tour card, but wherever he's gone this year, he's succeeded. He won week 8 of Series 8 at the Motor Super Series. He won the Denmark Open in the WDF, as well as the British Classic. He's been to a final of a Players' Championship this year, losing to Gary Anderson. He's won 2 Challenge Tour events, and he topped the Challenge Tour Order of Merit. Wherever he goes, he wins. But tonight, he has to win again at Alexandra Palace for the first time.
Yeah, won with no trouble at all. A straight sets victory, 3-0 against Ben Robb, averaging over 101 as well. Connor Scutt in the first round to tee up this tie with the number 9 seed, Damon Heta, who actually has the best checkout percentage in the PDC this season, 45%.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First set,
the ultimate finisher. The stats don't lie. But if people think that Damon is not a stage player, why don't you compare that 45 and a bit percent for the overall tour to what he's like on stage? 44.3%. There's only 1% of difference between the overall finishing of Heta this season and what he does on the stage. Wherever he plays, he is the best finisher on the planet.
Yeah, it's a wonder that he hasn't had more success on the stage. Of course, he notably won the World Cup of Darts in 2022 for Team Australia alongside Simon Whitlock, dedicated that victory to the late Kyle Anderson, who should always be remembered at the World Championship. Of course, hit a 9-darter in this venue.
Yep, he was the first person without a tour card to hit a 9-darter. And courtesy of this tournament, we have our second in Christian Kist.
And almost had another 9 in the previous match.
121.
Luke Littler missing double 12. He would have been £60,000 richer. He can do without it. The charity Prostate Cancer UK would have been £60,000 richer, and someone in the audience would have been 60 grand richer as well. Heta here after 9 on 140.
Yeah, Scutt way back on 245. And this is against the throw for Damon. That's what everybody calls him.
60.
Lives in Herefordshire now. Was living in Leicester for a few years when he first relocated. It's been 5 years on the tour for Damon now. But he wanted to find a little bit of peace away from the chaos of darts. And he's found that on a great property in Herefordshire. Single 1 there on the 80 try. Single 19, so he'll go back up to the 20s and get the single there till he tops. Scutt with an outside chance. After 15, he's on 148.
Over the top. In the treble 20 with the second dart. Can't finish, of course, having missed it with the first, but he does leave it handy just in case Heta can't find double top. But he does. So the first leg is filed under H for Heta and also under B for break.
Damon uses very conventional equipment. A lot of red and black and natural tungsten on that barrel of his. Red stem with a dark coloured top in aluminium. Red and white on the flight, just like the shirt. But the equipment of the sniper, Connor Scutt, is a bit more intricate because his flights only have 3 sides. Now, all of those victories that we were talking about at the start of the match for Scutt, they all came after the first 2 or 3 months of this year that weren't very good at all, because he couldn't figure out how to keep his darts on the board. By going to the 3-sided flight, he's figured out the balance and has been a very different player since.
Yeah, very interesting evolution, really, embraced by Connor Scutt. Not something you see from many players. The dart he uses as well, it's very sort of curvy throughout the barrel.
88.
It's almost like an old Simon Whitlock dart, but it's a lot smoother. There is a place for him to put his thumb and his forefinger, but the rest of the barrel is smooth. It's all the grip he needs. Heta's on 175 here. He's got a treble 19 with his second dart. He's wondering where to go. He stays downstairs, and that was a great choice. 2 treble 19s. Leave him on 41 with Scutt back on 179.
Yeah, and a single 19 and a single 1
77.
don't help too much. He does
41.
manage to find a treble 19, but Heta should be home and hosed in this second leg of the opening set. He is on double 16. So a break, then a hold for Heta. Scutt starting slower than the Australian, who he has beaten before. They played in a Players' Championship event in 2023. The only
99.
previous meeting, and that was 6-3 in favour of Scutt.
Damon had his best World Championship here last year, losing to Scott Williams in the last 16. We know that Scott went all the way to the semi-final. But this is now his 6th World Championship. He is firmly the Australian #1. And there's a really interesting battle about to happen over the next 5 or 6 months, because Damon's the only Australian with a tour card now. Simon Whitlock has lost his, and he no longer has a World Cup teammate. two of the people in the crowd who are supporting him right now, Gigi Mathers and Joey Commodore, they might be the two that are duking it out over the next 5 months to see who joins him in Frankfurt in June.
An interesting point. Well, Scutt's made better progress in the third leg, 2:04 after his first 9 darts. Heta trebleless with his third visit here, so he's only on 338.
We'll get back to the World Cup in a second, but it looks like Damo's going to have to wait for a chance to win this set. 180 from Scutt leaves double 12 after 12. This is a much better leg from Connor.
Yeah, thought he might have started the game like this, riding high on confidence from that previous performance. It's taken a while, but this is really good. He's in double 12. That's dead centre as well. A fantastic 13-dart hold from Connor Scutt.
He talks a lot in his own mind to himself, and he talks a lot to the people that watch him. He's got a lot of confidence as Connor. The Australian World Cup teams over the last 15 years, I do believe they've had the fewest amount of people play for that country, because it's only 4.
Yeah, you can take your portion of the blame for that, Paul Nicholson.
Yes, myself, Simon Whitlock, Kyle Anderson and Damon Heta. 4 players in 15 years.
Well, of course, if it's not Simon Whitlock next year, that'll be the first without the wizard. But there is a wizard on the dartboard at the moment. Connor Scutt has woken up to some tune. That's a 180 from him.
Yeah, just when you think that Heta's going to win this set comfortably, things can change. He's found a 1-2-1 with 2 treble 20s and the 1 at the end. And because he didn't get the treble with the last dart, he's on 208, and Scutt is bringing his score down simply. That's a ton to leave 84. It will be to take us to 2-2.
Once he gets his eye in Connor Scutt, he can be so dangerous. He's been praised by many of the top players, including Gary Anderson, as one to watch.
That's a great bit of praise. Every time Gary opens his mouth and says this person is going to succeed, they do. Johnny Clayton, Ryan Searle, now he's talking about Connor Scutt, so success is imminent.
41. Connor, you require
He's
84.
got a little bit of a buffer here. Heta's only left 167, 84 for Scutt. The first dart is errant. Bit a big one, but he's rescued it with a treble 17 and just clips the wire inside the double 16 to leave himself on double 8, which will level the set unless Heta can take out an enormous 167, which he won't.
No, he won't. What can he leave, though, with 3 darts?
60.
Only 107 a treble-less visit.
60.
And Scutt has got double 8, 3 darts in hand. He's wide by a centimetre to the left. Perfect adjustment. Takes that leg, and it's 2-2 in the first set. And what's curious, Murph, is that every game that Connor's been involved in his World Championship career has been 3-0 in sets. I wonder if this is going to be the same. He'd like to win this leg and then win the next 2 sets as well.
Speaking of threes, all of his missiles found that treble 20 target, and this is a total turnaround. Heta looks so comfortable. Scutt has just found something.
59.
No wonder he's feeling confident. He's the favourite for this set now. He still hasn't missed a treble 20. And he does with dart number 5.
And there was a deflection, no doubt about it. He groups his darts so well, it just bounced off the barrel and went the wrong side of the wire. 2-2-3 though, after 6. Heta coming in with a 140 to get into, well, some kind of range, but still 302. Can leave a finish, of course, with a couple of trebles from there.
59.
But which trebles can he find? Might go to the 18s here with Scutt on a finish of 164. Starts on the 18s, gets a single, back to the 60 now, gets 2 of them. Beautifully done to equalise the score position of Scutt. Both got 164, both have 2 legs. Someone's about to get a set.
20 found, and he finds a treble 18 moving away because the dart in the 20 was low. Then goes down for the bullseye, hits the 25, leaves 65. Heta though could take this. A treble 19 found, but not another one. And Scutt has a chance to complete the comeback in this set.
What a great first set this has been. Great start from Damon. Great fight back from Scutt. Who's going to win it?
65.
He's got 65 as Connor. He's got a bullseye, so 15 left. Chooses a single 3. 4 double 6. And completes the comeback in the first set of the contest in the final game of Saturday. He's trying to get the crowd on side. because he knows it's England versus Australia. Damon is displeased as he walks down the steps because he loses the first set after leading 2-0. So when we return, it will be set 2, and Scutt will look to double his lead on talkSPORT 2.
The World Darts Championship live on talkSPORT 2 with Village Holo Hotels. Dine out, stay.
Coverage of the World Darts Championship live on talkSPORT 2, where, well, tonight it has been double Dutch disappointment. Danny Nupper and Raymond van Barneveld crashing out of the tournament at the hands of Ryan Joyce and Nick Kenny respectively. Then Luke Littler, well, doing what Luke Littler does, the young sports personality of the year, showing that personality, all the swagger and skill of the teenager. He's still a teenager, in a 3-1 win over Ryan Meikle, in which he was a dart away from a perfect leg and produced the greatest set of darts statistically ever seen at this tournament. He went through 3-1. This match is a set deep, and it's a set that looked like it was going the way of one player but went the way of the other when Damon Heta had a 2-leg lead cancelled out. Connor Scutt was on fire himself for the last 3 legs, and he's a set to the good, and we could be seeing another seed tumble out on what would be an evening of shocks, Paul Nicholson.
Early times in this game, but very encouraging for Connor, because when he was here 12 months ago, he won his first game 3-0. He then would lose 3-0. So already he's improved. And I don't want to make you feel old, Murph, but Luke Littler will be still a teenager at the 2027 PDC World Championship. He doesn't turn 18 until next month.
140.
Well, not making me feel old didn't work, Paul, but it's an interesting point. And will he be a world champion by then? Damon Heta back from the break with a maximum second visit.
This could be a dust-up. It really could. A lot of people thought this was going to be 5 sets,
57.
and we hope it is. Love a good Ashes battle on the hockey between two of their best. Heta 2-6-2 downstairs.
95.
Gets 5 19s, courtesy of a treble and 2 singles to leave 167. Good board management there. 304 Scutt. He's going all around the houses. 93 for him, leaves him a good 41 points behind the finishing zone. 167's possible, but he's not going to go that route.
135.
It'll be a good settler for Heta, but might be a bit of deja vu in the mind of both players here. Heta on 32 after a dozen darts.
121.
Scutt
Damon, you require
found 2 treble
32.
20s and a single one. So Heta here with breathing space. Scutt waiting on 90. Misses inside on both the double 16 and the double 8. Comes across for double 4. And that one's found by the Aussie.
Second leg, it's Thomas to throw first.
Interesting section of the draw as well. Luke Woodhouse is the next opponent. Not that these two are actually looking at that.
140.
At least they don't want to be. Luke Woodhouse was very, very good pre-Christmas, winning 2 matches. And he's going to have a very Merry Christmas. But most of these dart players are going to come back to London on Boxing Day to get ready to stay here prospectively until the morning of the 4th of January. That's the best case scenario.
Heta didn't do too much wrong in that opening set. He only had 2 darts at double. He hit them both. Connor Scutt just sparks into that form that we saw in his first round win from that point. And he is
100.
in the lead in this second leg here. 100 there gets him down to 127 with Heta back on 319.
Set 2 is always big if you've lost that first set.
60.
Because if you don't get into this game, which is best of 5 sets, you're going to be in all sorts of trouble. Single 19 and a treble 17 for Connor Scutt, who was one of the most creative dart players in the world. I don't know many dart players that would have done that on 127, but he found what he needed to find to leave double top after 12 darts.
139.
Damon's done well to leave 120 after 12. Tops is missed by Scutt low and right, then left on double 10 and misses double 5 high. So this is a really good chance for Heta to be 2-0 in the second.
120 the target. And he puts one low and has to move across to the left to try and almost bend one around it, which he does with aplomb. Back to his starting position, looking at tops. Fabulous, absolutely fantastic finish from Damon Heta, who kept his head there.
Third leg, it's Damon to throw first.
And he doubles his lead in this second set.
Do you know what, in cricketing terms, what he's just done there is hit something straight up towards the bowler with the first dart, then he's hit a beautiful cover drive with the second, and then Matthew Hayden style, he's hit a 6 with the last one. 2-0 up, and he's just started the third leg with a max. Perish the thought. Might even think about getting a 9 himself.
Well, that's 4 and 5, but he can't quite make it 6.
Well, he couldn't hit a 6 this time, could he? He only got 5 perfect darts. He's talking to himself in the background as if to say, why didn't I lift that last dart a little bit higher?
You're listening to coverage of the PDC World Darts Championship on talkSPORT 2 with Village Hotels. Dine out, stay, work out and play this festive season at one of 33 cracking UK locations. And at this cracking location, Alexandra Palace in London, Connor Scutt won the first set against Damon Heta from 2 legs behind. Well, he's 2 legs behind here, but Heta wants 116 to make sure he gets the job done this time around. And he does, back-to-back, tongue-topping finishers. It is all square. Really good stuff from Damon Heta there, who gets that set done. I think they forgot to play the music. It's all square. Heta dances off the stage. We'll be back with the remainder of the match. It's one apiece between Heta and Scutt live here on talkSPORT 2.
The World Darts
Luke Littler was back at Alexandra Palace with a bang at the World Darts Championship on talkSPORT 2. A 3-1 win against Ryan Meeker. Let's hear from him talking to talkSPORT 2's Mark Wilson.
Yeah, I weren't even thinking of the highest set average. Obviously when I went out in 10 in the first set, or maybe 11, obviously that's like 150 odd average, 40 average, but I just had to kick on, and then I went back to back again, and then I said let's try again, and then I missed it. But no, that game was probably the most important game I've ever played.
Why do you think that?
All week I was looking forward, excited to playing on stage with no nerves. The train journey down there was fine, just being myself. And then as soon as I got on that stage, it was like, I don't want to be here. Just in my head, it was tough, but I just dragged myself over the line.
We said in the build-up to this, you've turned up, won pretty much whenever and wherever you've wanted, but you've openly admitted this is a tournament you really, really want to win. You have put a little bit of pressure on yourself by saying that, haven't you?
Yeah, obviously, well, everyone wants to win it, but your first game is a seed, or if you're a non-seed, that first game, it's the most important thing of this tournament, because then you can relax. And certainly, I know myself, I'll relax in my next game.
Yeah, really interesting from Luke Littler there, who did sort of burst out in tears at the end of that match, kind of cut his interview with the TV broadcaster short as well. Before we get back into this game between Damon Heta and Connor Scutt, which is currently tied at a set apiece, Paul Nicholson's alongside me, Chris Murphy. Paul, what did you make of what Luke Littler had to say?
Very honest, and I love that about Luke, because he's told us exactly how he was feeling. A lot of sports people these days, they just don't do that. And for him to have that refreshing honesty, it's nice. But what he's got coming up now, it is hopefully for him 2 or 3 days where he can just go home and be himself, and he'll come back and be refreshed. He's been under so much pressure for the last few weeks. You don't think Connor Scutt's under any pressure the way he's playing. He's averaging 99.7. He's one set all, and this one is good.
Yeah, Scutt's fourth maximum of the match. He's answered by Heta's third. Scutt was straight back in to the treble 20, but he'll be disappointed really with not leaving a finish after that. 177, Heta on 181 and throwing.
Now, one of those rare times where you're disappointed to be under 200 after 9.
96.
But Heta with 96 there leaves 85 after 9. He's going to get a look at it for 3 consecutive checkouts of combination nature. 120, 116. Now he's looking for 85. 19s. Gets a single, so 66 left with 2. And he's found a treble 8. And that leaves 42. So he's going to have to go for a single 10 here to lay up.
49.
Well, that was a single 6. He's missed his single there, but he's still on double 18, and he's going to get a look at it.
Yeah, all Connor Scutt can do is try and apply some pressure, which he does with the treble 20 of his last start. 41 remaining for him, but 36 here for Heta, outside the double 18. And then in it. And Heta is starting to take charge again of this quality darts match. They all came to see Luke Littler, but they've been provided with some really good stuff from others. A interesting battle between Barney and Kenny earlier on. Ryan Joyce was very good the way he closed out that win against Danny Noppert. Littler, of course, the final set was just unplayable. But in terms of an evenly matched contest at high quality, this one so far is the best.
Yeah, it really is. It did promise much. If you're a darting aficionado and you look at the form of this one, it's tantalising. It's 1 set all. Very fair result to this point. Connor addressing the hockey very much front foot straight on, but still leaning his body 45 degrees away from the board. As far as Damon Heta is concerned, he's one of the best technicians in the world. At this point in time, he's projected to be in the top 6 in the world come the end of this tournament, and it hasn't been talked about yet, but Damon Heta in the Premier League is not out of the question.
Certainly not, and that's without any massive ranking major success for Damon Heta, particularly at this tournament where his best run is round 4. He's on 210 here, back at the hockey. Scutt on 251.
100.
He could be on course here to lead every single set in the match so far 2-0, but he's only won one of the previous 2.
Two treble 20s from 251 for Scutt.
140.
He's got those corkscrew type points in which grip the board. But now Heta's trying to get a grip on the game with 110 checkout and double 16. The combination finishing has been off the charts so far for the best finisher in the world. He's 2-0 up again in set number 3.
Yeah, we've got Scutt's super scoring against Heta's incredible finishing, which we spoke about before the match. A season tally of 45%. Well, he's outdoing that here. 7 out of 10 on the doubles, including 3 ton plus checkouts, a 120, a 116 and a 110 we've just seen.
And in a strange sort of way, if you believe what the form says, this game is not even at the halfway point. So how many ton plus finishes can Heta get?
Back in the treble 20, only a ton in the scoring, 264 after 6 starts for Damon Heta. Scutt throwing first, 3-4-4. Really needs to get a leg just to remember what it feels like.
98.
Here, Connor Scutt on talkSPORT 2.
He's being outgunned. He really is. Damon on 264. Small 20 with the first start. Has to shift to the right, and he perfectly measures dart number 2, but settles for the ton. 164 is another combination. It's a difficult one, but it is to win set 3. Scutt with a 140 to lead the easier checkout of 106.
Well, he'll have to fancy himself for the 164. Heta, the way he's been taking out these combos, he's gone for the 19s, misses with the first start, gives Connor Scutt a chance, but he's going to have to do what Damon Heta's been doing throughout this match and take out this 106.
Hasn't got a ton plus finish yet. That single 20 means it's still possible. He's got the treble 18, double 16.
90.
Missed by a centimetre on the right-hand side. And Heta's here for 72. This is academic the way he's finishing at the minute. 2 single 20s. Oh, he hasn't got one! He's bust the score by hitting the 60.
Yeah, and he knew that it was in a dodgy place right above that treble because he moved across. Could have just gone for a 12 and not had that danger there. And Connor Scutt has picked his pocket on double 4, having missed double 8 before it. Damon Heta making a cardinal sin, and he almost swallows the dart in response. He cannot believe what he's just done.
When you bust a score on the Ali Pali stage,
58.
it's not out of the realms of possibility that it can really play on your mind. It reminds me of a situation that Dirk van Dijvenbode was in a few years ago when he bust 180 against Raymond van Barneveld. It set him back 2 years.
And speaking of 180, Scutt's come out firing against the darts with a maximum. He's 5th of the game after Heta didn't find a treble in his first visit. This set is back in the balance.
It's almost a carbon copy of set number 1. Here we go again. Scutt is not going to be perfect on the treble 20s in his first 2 visits, but he's pretty close.
So we have a situation now where it's possible Heta could lead all 3 sets 2-0 but be 2-1 down after this one.
And that's not good set play.
93.
181 for Connor Scutt. Heta on 250, so Connor knows he's got 2 visits here to break the Australian's throw and put himself in the position of serving for the sets.
Heta on 250, and if Scutt does win this leg and the next, that means that in legs Damon Heta will be winning 7-6 but will be 2 sets to 1 down. That's set play for you. Scutt is on double 18, misses it high with the first start, and the next one is drastically low, so he can't take the 96 out. Heta has 125 to win the set.
He's going for the bullseye or the 25 but missed both, meaning Scutt will return with the choice to make. Does he go straight for the double 9 or does he think about a split here?
He could do anything he wants. No hesitation. Single 10. Leaves double 4. Just on the outside, a perfect guide, which he can't use. He gets further away. Heta's got an easier chance now to win this set. 70 points separate him from 2 sets to 1.
He would have hoped to have been better than 70 after the previous visit, and that's a big 4. Rescued with a treble 16. So now he wants double 9, the double 9 that Connor Scutt declined. And he clips the wire on the inside. Scutt's let off.
You require 8.
Called by referee Charlie Kostafin. He requires double 4 and he gets it. It's 2-2, just like the first set, and that is a break of throw.
Achieved in a different manner though, isn't it? In the first set it was Scutt firing on all cylinders. In this set he's kind of relied on a few favours from his opponent, but he is back in the treble 20 with not just one but 2 darts. Ends up with a 140 and Heta's up against it here.
He ends up with disappointment at that 140. Should have been a max. Scutt on 3-6-1 after 3. Heta not far behind, in fact only 3 points behind. Very much game on now, whoever wins this set. This one looks like it's going deep.
talkSPORT 2 bringing you coverage of the World Darts Championship live from London's Alexandra Palace, where we are in the heat of battle between Damon Heta and Connor Scutt. That ton 40 for Heta gets him down to 2-2-4.
A fascinating section of the draw where you've got Luke Humphries and Nick Kenny to play after Christmas. Jermaine Waterman and Peter right after Christmas. And that's what these guys are playing for. 1-2-4 after that maximum for Scutt. Heta on 2-2-4's got to leave a finish here. 2 singles, then a treble 18 at the end to get himself down to 1-3-1, but it's advantage Scutt.
Yeah, 6 maximums in the game now. He hits a single 20, a treble 18, gives him a shot at the bull. He's a whisker away from the target.
This would be unreal if Heta takes this 1-3-1 out. This is a hard out. Doesn't get the treble 17. He's underneath it by a centimetre, so all he can do is hope that Scutt does not take 25 and he gets a look at his 76 checkout.
Big 9 for double 8, right on the wire outside. Can he use that dart? He goes underneath it, but not in the bed, and Heta does get a look at the 76. Can he fend off this fight back in this set and claim it for himself?
This is massive. Treble 20 found. Double 8 has 2 in hand. Only needs the 1. He's dodged multiple set darts in that set from Scutt. He was so close to hitting double 8. A somewhat cheeky smile on the face of the Australian number 1, who is now 2 sets to 1 to the good. And Scutt, his mood has changed in the last 20 seconds.
And there is a simple story to describe why this match is led 2-1 in sets by Damon Heta. He's 8 out of 12 on the doubles, that's 67%. Connor Scutt is 5 out of 19, that's 26%. Need I say more?
You can, but you don't need to. He is the best finisher in the world for a reason. He gets a lot of chances, he takes a lot of chances. Over the last 5 years, he has cultivated a style that means he can score heavier than ever before. But he's always been a great finisher. Since he won the Brisbane Masters in 2018 and he came to the tour about 18 months later, and we all knew how dangerous he could be, and he is now one of 3 Australian players who have broken the top 10 in the world. He could even be the best Australian ever if he keeps going the way he is.
Yeah, arrived in England with just a suitcase and is now a top 10 player. Could be going higher. Testament to his dedication and talent, and he's showing that talent again here. 2 in the treble 20. 1 drifts into the 5, but Heta is on a finish. 1-2-2 in the first leg of set 4.
Has options from 1-2-2 as well. Might use the bullseye. If he wants the 18s, they are there for him, but I think it's going to be the bullseye. First one is a 25. Treble 19 was the target. He's missed it drastically low. But with Scutt on 158, he'll hope he's coming back for 60.
Well, he can do this. It's a perfectly pitched start in the treble 20. Another one would have given him a go at double 19, but he's gone wide into the treble 1, and Heta can now really start to tighten his grip here on talkSPORT 2. Single 20 to tee up tops. In tops, in the lead in set 4, in the lead in the match, 2 sets to 1, and Connor Scutt is going to have to dig deep here.
One thing we haven't mentioned is just how familiar these two are with each other. They've actually practiced together this year, both in person and virtually. Another maximum for Damon, that's his 4th and the 10th of the contest. But because Connor lives in Kenley in Surrey and Heta's in Herefordshire, they've actually practiced online together to hone their skills when they can't be together.
Both hard workers, aren't they? Probably isn't a bigger practicer than Connor Scutt on tour right now.
I agree with that. He wakes up in the morning, I think he throws his first practice dart before anybody
100.
has their first coffee.
I think he throws his first practice dart into his coffee.
One dart or two.
Well, he needs 3 perfect ones when he comes back.
100.
1-6-4 on offer,
164.
with Heta leaving 1-2-1. Not going to go. Misses the treble 20 low.
Finds a brilliant second dart. And how did he get that third one in?
Damon, you require
Incredible 140. One of the
121.
best we've seen in the tournament. It leaves double 12, but Heta's on 1-2-1 to go 2-0 up. Single 20, but it's very low. It's good enough. So is that 51. How's his bullseye? Oh my! This guy could finish any portion of a dinner you give him. Give him 3 darts. He will finish the job. A 4th combination finish over 100. And he's now within 1 leg of post-Christmas darts, which will be live on talkSPORT 2.
Yeah, just like that, a leg away, and he's throwing for it as well. As Paul Nicholson rightly said and rightly predicted at the start of this match, it would be about Heta's finishing. Well, it has been there. 4 3-figure finishes. He's off with a 180. He's got a 71% strike rate on the doubles. You know what? I wouldn't put it past him to finish in perfect fashion.
140.
We've seen a game finish with a 170 in the last couple of days. How about a 9, 4, 5, 6? Any advance on 6?
And he's got rid of the treble 19, so it's 1-4-4, 2 treble 20s and double 12 for the second 9-dart finish of this tournament here on talkSPORT 2.
44.
One's in. Another for double 12. And like Luke Littler earlier tonight, Damon Heta goes 8 into the 9. He missed on the outside. Littler missed on the inside. And that £60,000 cheque just flashed before his eyes. Well, we could have been a few rich punters in here tonight, Paul.
Could have been 6 figures in Aussie dollars.
105.
But this guy could be in the next round if he gets double 12 this time. He doesn't. It's the same spot, a centimetre high. And he's there again. Dart number 3 for Damon Heta.
No score.
He's now missed double 12 4 times to win this leg. And now he might lose the leg.
Would it be a taste of his own medicine? He's had 116. That's what Scutt wants here. He's found the treble 20. He's found the single 16. Now wants tops
76.
over the top. And Heta can breathe a sigh of relief and try and get the job done.
24.
Well, it's a double 12 that could have pocketed him £60,000 and a 9-dart finish. But it may still be the double that puts him through to round 3. Miles wide again. And he's attracted to that dart once again. But that time, Heta hits it, and it's relief rather than the ecstasy that it could have been. It would have been pandemonium at the Palace had Heta managed to nail that 9-darter, but he will be satisfied to be through with a 3-1 victory against a plucky opponent in Connor Scutt.
I'll tell you what, that last dart that hit double 12 for the match, probably the best deflection we've seen in the entire tournament. He's hit the second flight, and somehow that third dart has found the match shot to get him through to post-Christmas darts. So close to a 9. That will be disappointment for Damon Heta, but when he wakes up tomorrow morning and he's still in the tournament in the last 32, he will be very pleased with a lot of the things he's done tonight.
Yeah, the numbers make incredible reading. He ruined that double percentage fall with all those misses in the last leg. It came down to 52%. It is still world class and then some.
Yes, it is. His 180 shooting was good as well. He ended up with 5 to Connor's 6. That's a really good game from Connor, but he was up against one of the better versions of Damon Heta we've seen this season. He's the number 9 seed for a reason. He's found a good enough performance to be in the post-Christmas stuff. He's going to be very, very pleased come tomorrow morning.
You'll just hear in the background he's talking to Abigail Davis on the stage. A look of relief on his face there at Damon Heta. Surely talking about that 9-dart attempt. 4 ton plus checkouts, as Paul Nicholson said. But let's just reflect on the night as a whole, Paul. We've had a full house of 3-1 scorelines. Let's go through them one by one, starting at the start. And that Ryan Joyce success over Danny Noppert.
Really good finishing from Ryan. One of the best finishers with Damon in World Darts. And he needed it when Danny Noppert was playing some really good stuff. Some great checkouts in that match from Ryan. He's going to be so pleased. At the end of set 3, he showed a lot of celebration in winning that set against Danny, and then he went missing for about 5 minutes because the adrenaline spike is something that he's not used to. But he was able to calm down and get the job done, and just like Damon, he's going to be super pleased.
Raymond van Barneveld also suffered Dutch disappointment. 3-1 defeat at the hands of Nick Kenny. Barney didn't really offer much, did he?
No, he didn't. Unfortunately, Raymond's going to have to look in the mirror tomorrow and say, preparation, whatever has gone wrong tonight, it wasn't good enough against a player who was fighting for his tour privileges. Nick was saying in conversation with us a little bit earlier on that he thinks he saved his tour card. It's not 100%, but it's 98% safe, so well done to Nick. He showed a lot of gumption tonight.
Ryan Meikle made Luke Littler play, and boy did he play.
Yeah, it's all Ryan's fault, isn't it? Because Ryan was the better player in the early portion of that match. Littler was in the traps a bit, maybe feeling a bit of the pressure, and you can understand that because he's the person that everybody's talking about. He's signed big endorsement deals recently coming into this biggest tournament of the season, and it took him about 2 and a bit sets to warm up properly. But when he did, we've never seen a set like that in the last 50 years. And I'm not over-egging it because the first World Championship was in 1978. We've never seen a set that good, and we may never see a set that good ever again. It's that impressive.
He almost hit the 9-dart finish. Damon Heta almost hit it, both missing double 12. Was tonight the night when the tournament really came alive?
I think it was pretty much alive until, we had that game with Dutz and Michael Smith. That was unbelievable. But we're getting a continuance of drama and quality, which is what this place is all about. Could have been a really expensive night for the title sponsor tonight. They could have been writing cheques to the tune of £360,000, £120,000 to 2 players, £120,000 to 2 fans, and £120,000 to the charity, which would have been spectacular. It would have been 3 9-darters in the tournament, but it's just 1 for now, and Christian Kist is the man who's hit it.
Yeah, well, Damon Heta almost kind of stole the show at the end, but the night has been, and we knew it would be, about Luke Littler. Interesting seeing the outpouring of emotion for him at the end of that match here on talkSPORT 2. Burst into tears on the stage, cut short his TV interview. He's obviously fulfilled those obligations afterwards, and we've heard from him here on talkSPORT 2. What do you make of the amount of pressure that's been put on Luke Littler by media, by himself? And did he show tonight that he can ride it, or does he need to think about preparation a little bit differently for the rest of the tournament?
No, I don't think he's done anything wrong at all. I think the press have mostly been very responsible, which is what they need to be. And there was a lot of chat about that 12 months ago, but it just goes to show that he can ride the pressure and do extraordinary record-breaking things. I can't wait to see him after Christmas, but there's still a lot of other people that we've got to talk about before then.
Yeah, Gary Anderson's going to be in action tomorrow. That's probably the standout tie, Paul. Anybody else jump off the page for you?
Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing Ryan Searle. I think a lot has been made of the upturn in his form over the last few years. Looking forward to seeing him. And the last person to go through to round 3 in this section would be Dirk van Dijvenbode and Matters Rasma.
So tonight, a victory for Damon Heta, missed double for a 9-darter. Littler wins as well. We're back tomorrow afternoon for another double session of second round action, but next on talkSPORT 2, it's a Dart Show podcast special with Dan Dawson in conversation with Adrian Lewis.
talkSPORT 2 is your dynamic destination for all